Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio live in beautiful Chandler, Arizona. I'm out of studio today with a couple of good friends of mine. It's going to be an amazing show. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to fly by. It does every week. You miss a minute, you miss a lot is our old mantra here. And I am joined. So get ready, folks, because you asked for this and you're finally going to get it. I'm joined by Nathan LeDuc, none other than the Nathan LeDuc, the ultimate superstar, the Sun Devil Football Hall of Famer, the legend. And this was just when he was in high school. And then he went on to greater heights, higher heights, and he is just an amazing person. He's a good friend. I'm proud to call him my friend. Nathan, would you say I'm your friend?
I'd say you're one of my longest standing friends. Yeah.
Okay. And to top it off, that's not the only thing we have going on today in Nathan. And as you guys know, we do a segment called Nate's Take. We'll talk more about it later. Today is going to be a whole show of Nate's Take. I hope you're ready for this. And to my right, I'm sitting with one of the longstanding Sun Devil supporters, athletic supporters. He is, it's kind of a weird thing to say, athletic supporter. You're an athletic supporter? Yeah. His name is Spike Lawrence. He's first of all, his dad's name was on the ICA building for years, the Intercollegiate Athletic building for years and years, Knapp Lawrence. Spike is a Sun Devil through and through. And Spike, I have a story about you. I'll tell in a little while. But Spike Lawrence. Spike, how are you?
I'm outstanding. Thanks, Vince. I'm glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here, first of all, because, we're normally sequestered in studio, and we're out now. We're at a place called Bottle and Bean, and this is your tell me about this concept. It's a coffee house, but it's a wine bar. Yeah. You put both of those together at 7 a.m. It's pretty quite a combination.
The best wine prices in town for bottles, and with great food, coffee. It's our fifth concept we created here in my shopping center downtown Ocotillo. Yeah. It's run by my daughter, Tori, so it's special. And I'm so pumped you're here.
We're pumped to be here. I mean, this is an amazing place. It's got kind of a Spanish vibe to it, all the white and the tile and it's just Barbara. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, there you go, Santa Barbara. And yes, exactly. That's what it is. And it's beautiful. It's new. How long has this place been here?
I developed downtown Ocotillo in 2008.
Wow. 2008. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. I mean, but it's an amazing place. And what made you think to start this Bottle and Bean? I mean, what was the concept?
What we needed, we have the living room, we have chop, we have rock lobster, sea and smoke. We needed a breakfast place. And my partner's a great wine sommelier, and so he said, let's go get that Series 10 and Series 7 license, and we can buy wine really cheap and sell it as cheap as Costco and Total Wine. So we have a wine shop. It's a neat morning, noon, and night place here.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to set us up in the wine room when we got here, and I said, I don't know, Nathan here, I don't know if that's a good idea.
That's a dangerous idea.
Yeah, Nathan, are you a wine drinker?
No, I've never had wine before.
Okay. You seem more like a Schlitz guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So as I said, guys, we are joined by Spike Lawrence, longtime Sun Devil supporter. We've got Nathan LeDuc, Sun Devil Hall of Famer. It is going to be a Sun Devil day, and to give you an idea of the content that we have today, first of all, we are going to be joined by Nick Offenberger. Nick is the coach of the Future U, all the Future U and the Argos youth football teams. They're playing for a national championship today in the Citrus Bowl out in Orlando, Florida. So we're going to be joined by Nick. That'll be later today that they'll be playing a team from Florida for the national championship. We're going to be joined by legendary Sun Devil Vince Amy. For those of you that have been under a rock for years that don't know the name Vince Amy. Vince Amy was a starting defensive tackle on some of the couple of the greatest Sun Devil football teams in school history. He was part of the Rose Bowl team. He was part of the Sun Bowl team in ~97. Spent some time with the Oakland Raiders organization and played some arena football. He's coached and he's coached and he's coached. And now he's fulfilling a lifelong dream as the defensive line coach on the new staff of Coach Kenny Dillingham for the Arizona State University Sun Devils. At 8:30, we're going to be joined by Coach Lucas Ramirez for the SaberCat basketball report. As you guys know, we are the broadcast team for the Saguaro SaberCats. So Coach Ramirez will kind of give us a state of the state for the past week and of the basketball program. He's very animated. He's always fun to have on. We're also going to be joined by Coach Lyle Setensich. Again, if you haven't been around that long, Coach Setensich was the linebackers coach on the great Sun Devil team of '96. He coached Pat Tillman. I don't know if anybody can say they coached Pat Tillman, but Pat Tillman was a linebacker when Coach Setensich was the linebackers coach. And he went on to be the defensive coordinator for Mike Leach out at Texas Tech and a part of some great teams. And he's got a lot of great stories. So Coach Setensich, Big Daddy, will be joining us in the third segment. Then we're going to feature the It's Dylan segment. Dylan Weinmiller is an old friend of mine from the neighborhood, longtime Valley coach, and we're going to find out what Dylan is up to these days. Then we are not even halfway through the show. We've got Keith Poole. You guys know Keith Poole. Keith, the iconic wide receiver with the Arizona State Sun Devils years ago. I told you guys it's an ASU day. So Keith Poole will join us. I know Nathan's got a bunch of questions for Keith and as well as Spike, and so we'll be joined by him. Kenny Dillingham is going to be joining us. The brand new head football coach of the ASU Sun Devils will be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour. Stay tuned for that, guys. You don't want to miss it. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to ask him a bunch of questions. And then, of course, we've got Coach Jason Mons. Coach Mons will be giving us kind of a pregame preview of tonight's state championship game. The Saguaro SaberCats taking on the Basha Bears. So Coach Mons, this will likely be our final SaberCat football report of the season. So we'll talk to Coach Mons. Then guys, I tell you what, we got a lot of content. Tristan Monday. You guys remember Tristan Monday? Tristan was an outside linebacker, all-state outside linebacker defensive end for the Saguaro SaberCats. Last year, he went off to the University of Wisconsin. Tell you what, he's coming home, folks. He's going to be a Sun Devil, and Tristan will be joining us in the 9:30 segment. And then we've got the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. Spike, you're probably wondering why we do a Southern California Surf Report here. Because we can. So nobody else does. McCabe doesn't, so we do. So anyway, we're doing we got to get some kind of a niche. So anyway, that being said, let's talk a little bit about what's going on out there in this first segment. So Nathan, you've been watching the news, obviously. And we're going to circle back on this later in the show, but Coach Kenny Dillingham, are you happy with what's going on within the program and all the hires and all of a sudden the kids turning course and coming home?
I am. I was just telling Spike earlier, it's been 25 years. I feel like I've been screaming, preaching, yelling to anybody who would listen that we need to recruit our own local Arizona kids. Not only because they're equally talented compared to the rest of the kids in the country, but because it's going to help build the overall program and create a connection between the community and the university. And finally, and I didn't even say anything to the administration this time because I just kind of got tired of it. They ended up hiring Kenny Dillingham, and it seems like he and I's philosophy align. So I'm immediately happy with what he's doing. And I do think that, given the right opportunity, given enough time, that it's going to do wonders for the program.
Spike, what about you?
It's so fitting that we're on the show together right now at this moment. I've said the same thing that Nate said. Our state is rich in talent. I think last year there were 63 Division I scholarships given out to Arizona high school football players. We got none.
Wow.
I mean, that's a joke. We should get at least a third or a half of those guys in the future.
Spike, the last time I saw you, it was January 1st, 1997, and our buses were, I was an offensive graduate assistant, and I was in the front bus, and then we had the defensive bus behind us. They took us through the back way into the Rose Bowl, and because the traffic was so bad taking us into the front way, into the back way, and we stopped. There was this convoy, and we stopped at a certain point as we were approaching. You know how it kind of opens up as you get into the parking lot of the Rose Bowl there? And we saw this guy with a banner and a bunch of women around him. And I looked and I said, who's that guy? And I remember one of the players said, that's Spike Lawrence. And I thought, man, I'd like to be where that guy is right now. So I still picture you there 25 years later.
What a day
That was a
Only
heck
time
of a
I
day.
cried after football.
You know what? We all shed a lot of tears.
Yeah.
Who's the young man that's our fan? We got a fan
I'm
section.
blessed that my father has come to join us.
The legendary Nap Lawrence. Wow. Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll have to get him on a little later too. So his name is on the building, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing.
Vince, last night I was taking a few notes knowing that we're going to talk to Spike this morning. And it's been 35 years since Spike and I first met each other. And of all places, we met originally in the Choya dormitory, legendary place. And I don't know if you saw just last week, there was a picture on Facebook of a bunch of demolition cranes that are knocking Choya down. And there were some comments that were made from former football players that if these walls had eyes, what would they say?
What would they say?
I want to ask Spike. Spike,
What would they
your
say,
walls
Spike?
It's a family show. My roommate, Nate and I met our freshman year at Choya. He was roommate with one of my best friends, Scott Woodford, who played linebacker.
Oh, that's a name.
My roommate was White Chocolate, Steve Martin. Right?
Wow.
Out of Tucson, Saguaro, played both baseball and football. His in-house, his roommate was his girlfriend, Brooke Burke.
Brooke Burke.
From Instagram fame.
Oh, my
channel.
God. Yeah.
So that was my
yeah.
I keep liking to say that's my roommate.
Yeah.
Brooke's my roommate.
I bet you got some stories.
Well, so I first met Spike, and I knew him to be Spike Lawrence, the friend of my college roommate, Scott Woodford.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, I entered onto the campus, and there was a newly remodeled weight room that was called the Nap Lawrence Strength and Conditioning Center. And so I quickly realized that it's not just Spike, it's a whole family tradition. And I wanted to ask Spike, did you ever have a choice in the matter in becoming an ASU fan or not?
No,
or
yeah.
You came out of the womb and
Yeah.
your dad was singing the fight song.
Yeah, he said, listen, you can go anywhere you want, but you're paying for it.
Yeah.
On stage.
Do you think your dad has room in the house to adopt a little 50-year-old Italian guy?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We could talk sports all day. He'd love it.
Yeah, well, or whatever he wants, because he's Nap Lawrence. So, wow, he just moved a little closer. So, this is big. I mean, we have a fan section. We got a couple of longtime Sun Devils here. This guy looks like a Sun Devil here, and so who is this guy?
This is one of my neighbors, Damon Rosenhan, who was an ex-ASU alum, and he's
looks like
he's
he
a
can still
supporter.
play.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Amazing. So anyway, guys, in case you're just tuning in, I am joined out here. I'm at Bottle and Bean in Chandler. It's a beautiful coffee shop, wine bar. Would you call it a wine bar?
Wine, where we sell wine.
Okay.
Wine shop, wine tasting.
Okay. We will be back after the break, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, this is former NBA All-Star and coach Doug Collins, and you're listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675. Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Hi, this is Saguaro High School Principal Ann Oxiger, and you're listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
KDUS AM 1060 is the home to the Dan Patrick Show, the Doug Gottlieb Show, and Sports Map Radio. Catch all the sports content here on AM 1060.
All right, guys, joined on the line by future U football head coach Nick Offenberger. Coach Offenberger is in Florida right now. He's actually in Orlando, Florida. He's not on vacation. He's working, man. He's played his team, his future U 8th grade team, has put themselves in position to win a national championship, and that game is today against a team from Florida. You talk about home field advantage. The Opaka Blue Darts, their 8th grade team, playing for a national championship in Camping World Stadium in Orlando, where the Citrus Bowl is played. Coach Nick, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Vince. Good evening. Thanks for getting on the phone with us.
Coach, you obviously you're excited. You've flown 2,000 miles to play this game, and you had a couple of games before. You've been out there a long time. You guys homesick yet?
When you're winning, it definitely helps, Vince. But yeah, we flew out. Some of us got here Friday, the rest on Saturday, and we had a game Sunday, and then our semifinal game on Wednesday. So it has been a long week, but we're looking forward to what's ahead, and want to make sure we bring that trophy back to Arizona.
Teams from Arizona aren't supposed to be good. I mean, compared to the national landscape, you guys are proving the naysayers wrong, and you're doing it in pretty convincing fashion. Talk a little bit about the season that you had with the future U 8th graders, and what put you in position to get out to Florida. I know you were in California for a bit, and now in Florida.
Yeah, Vince, it's been a heck of a season, and we've these boys were battle tested, man. And we took them to Vegas. We had to go to California twice. California came out here to Arizona once. And it seems like every time we show up to a new city, man, nobody really knows who we are. Nobody really gives us a shot, but we've knocked out some big time players around the way. Knocked out the number 1 team out of Nevada. We knocked out St. John Bosco's freshman feeder team to get here. And then our first round game, we actually played a full freshman team from Hartford, Connecticut. So our boys are out here proving everybody wrong one step along the way.
Wow. So talk a little bit about the Blue Darts and what do they do well? You obviously have had a chance to at least see them, see what they're about. What's it going to take to win this game?
Whoever can win the line of scrimmage, make sure they limit their turnover, make sure they win the turnover battle. And I think whoever punches first has a good shot. I mean, they're big, they're fast, they're physical. Their quarterback looks like a D1 athlete out there. They have a big running back that's about 220. He's just a force to bring down. So they stay true to who they are. They want to ground and pound, take their shots when they can, and then play great defense. So we've got our hands full, man, but we're excited for the opportunity.
Awesome. Coach Nick Offenberger, future you, the 8th grade team out of Scottsdale, Arizona, playing for a national championship out in Orlando, Florida. That game will be today, 4:30 Eastern time. Coach, congratulations, good luck, and we'll have a greeting party waiting for you when you get off the plane in Phoenix.
We'd love that, man. Thanks for all the support, Vince.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Good luck to future you out in Florida. Guys, we are going to be joined by a very special guest here shortly, but we're joined by another special guest right next to me here, besides, of course, Nathan LeDuc, the Sun Devil All-American Hall of Fame. Were you an All-American? You're an All-American to me.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. We are joined by Nap Lawrence, Spike's dad. Besides being known as Spike's dad, what else have you done, sir?
That's about it.
That's about it? Okay.
No, not really. I've been an ASU fan from the day we got on campus in 1958 after the 57 team beat the Cats 57-0.
Was Dan Devine the head coach at the time?
Yeah.
I met that man, and he was an amazing human being. Even when I met him, when I was a graduate assistant back from 95 to 97 under the late Bruce Snyder, and Dan Devine used to come in. Late Frank Cush used to come in, and he would come in and kind of make his rounds and survey the landscape, and he was an interesting guy to talk to as well. I'm sure you've got some stories from back then that maybe are locked in the vault somewhere.
Those are the only ones I can remember.
All right, guys, we are joined on the line by the new defensive line coach of the ASU Sun Devils, Vince Amy. Good morning, Coach Amy.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, I am joined by a couple of great Sun Devils here. First of all, to my left, I'm joined by Nathan LeDuc. I know you remember Nathan from years past. I just
seen LeDuc last night.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw Vince last night at the state championship game. With Snowflake versus Gilbert.
Okay, and I'm also, and to my right, I'm joined by probably your new employer, Nap Lawrence.
What's up, Nap?
Yeah.
Hello, Vince. How are you?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
So
well.
Yeah. So Vince, you have to be flying high, because I know it's been your lifelong dream to come back to your university, to work for your university. I mean, you played here. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back 30 years when you were being recruited out of high school. Talk about that experience and how you decided.
It was that long ago?
Well, you're a pretty old guy.
Oh my goodness. You know what? We can go back that far. I'm sitting in my office now, and I'm looking at Tempe Town Lake. Nice and beautiful. And 30 years ago, it was dirt. And I'm just like, man, this place has come a long way. We've come a long way. I've come a long way. Seeing Nathan LeDuc and his kids, we've all come a long way, but this is home for us. This is home.
Yeah. What was the experience like? Who recruited you back then?
Oh,
from ASU. Who was the coach?
Yeah, Rod Marinelli.
Okay.
And Phil Snow were heavily, Bruce Snyder.
Sure.
All three of them were on me pretty heavily.
What was the deciding factor in coming to ASU back then?
Marinelli was a hell of a recruiter, and he would send me these letters and draw these pictures, these little stick figures of the Rushmen, the Booty Brothers, and he was just on me. But when I came to Tempe and on my recruiting trip, I met Juan Roque, I met and all of those guys, and they
were a year ahead of you, right?
They were a year ahead of me, and they just took me in like I was already part of the brotherhood, the family, and it was just a no-brainer after that.
So it was family. That was the deciding factor. It was the family atmosphere. And meeting Juan, meeting Jake, and all those guys. Now, talk about. I remember hearing this back. Yeah. Well, now what was this thing, the Booty Brothers, that you guys had? What was that? Is that something we can talk about on radio?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you got five. Marinelli was recruiting 5 D tackles.
Yeah.
All brothers, all just big, same size and stature, and he just came up with that name because
Have you seen Vince's booty? Have you seen the size of his booty? That's exactly why they call him the Booty Brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I mean,
go ahead.
that's where he gets all that power and speed, right?
Power and speed,
that
right.
Big old booty.
So, all right. So fast forward ahead. So you start your obviously your playing career is going well. We were part of the Rose Bowl team in '97. I remember it very clearly. It was an amazing time, an amazing era. And then you went on. You spent time with the Raiders organization. You spent time with the Rattlers. You started coaching after that. You got that coaching bug. You ended up. This was a dark period in your life. You ended up down at the U of A. And then somehow wind up, you were at Idaho State. Remember, we were standing on the sideline in the state championship game last year, and I was teasing you. You said you were heading off to Idaho State. I said, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And you told me. You said it's with the idea. You said, "I will be back." You told me that. You said, "I will be in the stadium." And here we are, a year later. You got to pick my lottery numbers for me. So, how did you see this coming? I mean, was it fast? Was it planned out? How did it happen?
Well, it goes back to when
Did Knapp have something to do with it?
Knapp has something to do with everything. He has his
okay. Hey, Vince, take us through the call. Who gave you the call? What did they say? What was your reaction when it all happened?
Well, just to go back and just bear with me with this. It goes back to when I was coach at U of A, and then when we came down here to play, and it just the emotions and the feelings that I had stepping on that field, but being in different colors, it was tough. So I just had a vision of wanting to coach at my alma mater, wanting to coach at ASU, and the guys I had on my side, the Charlie Regals and the King Gillinghams, we've been speaking about this for the past 10 to 12 years. Even though we've gone our separate ways in our journeys, we've been speaking this into existence. And then in your testimony, I said it. I've been saying it, and I believe it now. Speak things into existence, put it out there in the airways, put it out there in life, and, it happened. It happened.
So this has been a pre-formulated plan that you guys have been talking about for a number of years. And, I guess what you're saying right now is through the power of positive thinking that it has come to fruition, right? And it was Sean Aguano also in on some of these conversations?
Not, we see Sean know because, Sean and I have a relationship just through coaching, and, we weren't that close. But now that I'm here with Sean, it's like we've been tight for a long time. But, Coach Dillingham and Coach Regal, we go back to Chaparral days. So we do have a little bit tighter connection and bond. But with Aguano, I've known him for a long time, and we do have a connection. But it's just been something that, Coach Regal and Dillingham I've been talking about for years.
Joined on the line by Sun Devil great and new defensive line coach for the ASU Sun Devil football team, Vince Amy, joined remotely at Bottle and Bean in Chandler. Coffee and I keep wanting to call it wine bar. Spike, forgive me. What is it? It's coffee.
Wine bar too.
Wine. It is. Okay. All right. So it is Bottle and Bean Coffee and Wine Bar, and with Nathan Leduc and Knapp Lawrence, longtime Sun Devil supporter Knapp Lawrence. When we come back from the break, guys, we're going to be joined by Saguaro SaberCat basketball coach Lucas Ramirez. Vince, I am so excited for you. Our friendship has not only do we have the same first name, but we've been friends for years and years and years. I can't tell you. I cried when I knew you were coming back home. I literally cried. I'm just happy for you because I know this is something you've wanted.
I love you, man. You know I love you. You know I love you.
We've known each other for years, and I am just so ecstatic for you. Vince, good luck, and we'll talk to you soon, okay, bud?
Okay,
guys,
man.
when we come back from the break, stick around. We are going to be joined once again by Lucas Ramirez, head basketball coach, Saguaro SaberCats, for the SaberCat Basketball Report. We'll be back.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Interact with Bob Kim's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kent's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
You're listening to the home of Saguaro Sabercat basketball. The Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. And now, here's Coach Lucas Ramirez.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio joined at Bottle and Bean Coffee and Wine Bar in beautiful Chandler by an old friend of mine, Nathan LeDuc, and a new friend of mine, Nap Lawrence, apparently. Nap, he even knows my name, for God's sakes. This guy's a legend. And we're at Spike Lawrence has been joining us for this first segment. Nathan, I got to tell you, to be surrounded by all these great Sun Devils, it can be a little intimidating.
You don't seem intimidated.
I hide it well. But yes, I am. Joined on the line by an old friend of ours for the Sabercat Basketball Report, Coach Lucas Ramirez. Good morning, Coach Ramirez.
Morning. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing wonderful. Coach, how's your week been?
It's been good. We've had some ups. We've had some downs. We had a good win on Monday night against ALA Queen Creek and played a nice game. And then we played a solid, very, very talented Desert Mountain team on Thursday night, and we didn't show up, and they did, and we moved on. Had a great practice yesterday, and we're about ready to get on a bus and head to Mesquite. We play them at 1:00, and then we're excited to support Coach Mons and the football team tonight at Sun Devil Stadium.
You know, it's interesting. We started kind of a little project that you allowed us to do. We obviously we broadcast for the Sabercat basketball team, and we started this thing called the Coach Ramirez mic, where we mic you up, and throughout the game we'll turn that mic on, whether you know it or not. It's on, and it's part of our broadcast. And at one point, I got a text message from our producer that said Coach Ramirez had a hot mic moment. What do you think that means?
I didn't really care what it meant. I knew I was furious and didn't want anybody online to hear what I was saying. So I took it off. But we had fun with it Monday night.
Yeah. We had fun with it Monday night. You had a big win, but unfortunately, the other night you ended up taking the mic off in the first half. Anyway.
Hey, Coach, this is Nathan LeDuc. Just be careful about this, because Vince has a way of kind of planting cameras and microphones in certain areas, and he likes to gather information to use for blackmailing purposes later down the road. So just be careful.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my office right now, and I'm a little worried myself.
We put together little clips and things, but Coach, you've been a good sport about it. And you're doing something that not a lot of coaches will allow media people in to do. So, we're micing you up, and we've been really good about it, obviously, and letting you know when you're mic'd and when you're hot and all that. But looking ahead at your week, so you've got a game at Poston Butte, and then you're closing out the week hosting Arizona College Prep. What can you tell us about both of those teams?
Yeah, I'm really just focused on Mesquite right now. But both those teams, like any opponent we have, that's the most important important game in that moment, if you will. But Poston Butte always competes well. Arizona College Prep has had a nice year. So looking forward to being able to compete and then kind of go into winter break with a lot of momentum. But first things first, got to take care of business this afternoon against a very, very talented Mesquite program. But like you said, we have two great opportunities next week, and one on the road and one at home, and we're excited to end the 2022 portion of our calendar regular season at home in front of our home crowd.
You have you've got a couple of basketball tournaments coming up. You're hosting one, and then you're playing in one at McClintock and over the break. And what does this do for your team in playing in these tournaments? I mean, most teams, if they play in one, they're lucky, but you're going to be playing in two heading into the break.
Yeah, we intentionally played two in December the last couple of years, just due to being able to get our football guys gelled in. We kind of look at the calendar and know, all right, the Open Division Championships this weekend, so why play a wasted tournament in Thanksgiving perhaps. So we're hosting one next weekend. Means a lot to me because we're taking it over from Horizon, where I came from, and that's always been a long-standing holiday tradition. So it'll be nice to host one at our place, and then we play in the McClintock Shootout. Probably one of the best holiday tournaments out there, and long-standing. And Coach Dentz does a great job over there at McClintock, putting on a fabulous program and an event for everybody here in Arizona. But the whole point of it is, or I guess the benefit of it for us, selfishly at Saguaro, we can gel our football guys in with the squad that we have. We'll have 3-4 guys coming from varsity football, to add depth to our varsity basketball roster. And then also too, I mean, it's no secret for anybody who knows us right now this season, where, we've been missing 3 guys all year due to injury and illness. So as we slowly get these guys back here the next few weeks, it'll be great to weave some of those guys back in as well.
All right, Coach Lucas Ramirez with the SaberCat Basketball Report, joining us as he does every week. Coach, good luck today against Mesquite and the rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Vince. Appreciate all you guys do, and can't thank you enough. Go Cats.
All right. Joining us on the line, Big Daddy, Lyle Setensich. Coach Setensich, of course, from ASU football history. He was the linebackers coach from 95 to 97. And was part of a couple of great teams and ended up moving on, worked for Mike Leach for a couple of years out at Texas Tech as his defensive coordinator, and now he's back in the Central Coast of Central California. Coach Setensich, Big Daddy, how are you, sir? Good morning, Coach. Good to hear you as well. I'm joined by a couple of old friends here. We got Nathan LeDuc flanked to my left, and then Knapp Lawrence to my right. My IQ went up a couple points when I walked into the building this morning.
Hello.
How are you, Coach? How's it going? What's new?
I'm okay. I didn't get my big walk in this morning. I only got 2 miles this morning.
Okay.
Waiting for the phone call, but I guess some more rain's coming.
Yeah. Coach, you got to be excited with what you're seeing. I know you keep in touch with a lot of the guys from ASU and from history there, and of course one of your very own, Vince Amy, is joining the coaching staff. What do you think? What are you seeing?
Well, I'm happy that people are happy about it. I don't like the criticism on the internet and all that kind of stuff. I just hope for the best. I talked to Paul Reynolds the other day. He called, and I talked to Derek Smith, and Bondarahi was by a couple of years ago, I think. And, I just hope that things work out for him.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's a lot of pressure, but when things are good, they're definitely good. Nathan's sitting here to my left here, Coach. I think he's got a question for you.
Hey, Coach, it's been probably, 25 years since I've seen you or spoken to you. As I'm listening to your voice, it just reminds me of when I used to be out on the practice field, and I could hear you kind of yelling, barking at those linebackers that you just mentioned. And it wasn't in a negative way. Your voice had a lot of command and a lot of power. And I felt like you coached in a way that you never got cheated. Like there wasn't ever a day that you weren't going to give your best effort. And that's the things that and I was only around you for a year, but I don't think you ever cheated yourself in coaching as hard as you possibly could because you just wanted to make those guys get better and you had such a passion for it. So that's the thing that I remember about you. Was that your goal, being a coach there at ASU?
Well, I appreciate that. I love to coach. I was very fortunate when I got to Arizona State. There was a great group of linebackers. We recruited one more, Derek Rogers. I remember this story. I'm telling Phil Snow, who I hired when he was 22 years old, I think, the youngster. Philip, you gave me Derek and Rogers. I said, he's a great Willie linebacker. But God darn, I don't want to sit Tillman down. He'll be second team because Rogers will beat him out. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm telling you that he'll probably beat him out. So let's move Derek to rush, the rush linebacker that we call. And ours is a little bit different. We developed it at Boise State. I had a guy named John Rady who was a nose tackle. I moved to rush linebacker, played 11 years in the league. So we're looking for a specific type of guy, a guy who could cover if you wanted to, a guy who could blitz, but a guy who could run off a corner and cause quarterbacks a lot of problems. And, of course, Derek turned out to be that. Then when we lined up with Derek and Pat and Bondrai and Derek Smith, and we had some great people that were backups. I'll never forget the play that Ron McCook made against UCLA.
Ron McCook,
yeah. I said, if you get a shallow cross, run across the field of the next receiver, the ball hit him back in the head on fourth down, about 18 yards down the field. And the pattern read that we taught was something unique. A lot of guys won't buy into it today.
Coach, that was your copyright, the pattern read. And I want to ask you, you were credited with coaching, even though, not many people were able to coach this guy, Pat Tillman. What can you tell us about Pat as a player day to day?
Well, first of all, he's probably the smartest football player that I was fortunate enough to coach football-wise. And, he played really hard. He didn't have great talent. He probably ran 4.7, 195, 200 pounds.
He wasn't very tall either, right? Yeah.
What's that?
He wasn't very tall
he's
either.
Probably about my height, kind of a shorter guy.
Yeah, 5'9", 5'10"? Really short.
5'11", maybe.
Okay.
And, he was extremely smart. He was extremely coachable. And, he could anticipate based on splits of offensive linemen, depths of running backs, steps of quarterbacks, the play, and diagnose the play. And the pattern read was somewhat tough to teach when you first started, and you got to walk it and that kind of stuff. But between those guys, Von Rye smart, Derek Smith smart, McCook, Paul Reynolds,
Derek
Johnson,
Smith,
all those kids
13 years in the NFL. Yeah. Wow.
If you're a good pattern read team, and basically a cover two or quarters, you're going to cause the offense a lot of problems.
Well, you guys certainly made the right personnel decisions on which positions you played those guys at, and what a great group of guys to be associated with. That was a really fun year that I had in my life at the time, and they're all those guys that you coached particularly. I'm actually close friends with the majority of them.
Yeah.
And Ron McCook's my financial advisor. How about that?
Wow.
So, there you go.
Oh, man.
You can trust him, I think. So.
Coach Sutton, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to circle back with you in the near future and get your take on everything and how it's going. And we just appreciate you. Lyle Setensich, linebackers coach at ASU from 95 to 97, coached the great Pat Tillman, as well as a handful of other guys that spent a lot of time playing professionally, including Derek Rogers, Ron McCook, Derek Smith. I mean, my gosh,
Paul
Scott
Reynolds.
Von Rahi, Paul Reynolds, who's an athletic director now, for God's sake. So thank you so much, Lyle, Big Daddy Setensich.
Thanks, man.
Guys-
You guys have a good time.
You too. Guys, when we come back from the break, we'll be joined by our old friend Dylan Weinmiller for It's Dylan. Don't go anywhere here on the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
Welcome to Dylan. He's out and about looking for fun. He's Dylan. Brought to you by Chris Scott of RE/MAX Key Properties in Bend, Oregon, where it's living at its best. 541-999-5614. And now, it's Dylan.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio joined by Nathan LeDuc with Nate's Take, and of course, longtime Sun Devil supporter Nap Lawrence here at Bottle and Bean in Chandler. And now it's time for It's Dylan with my old friend Dylan Weinmiller. Dylan, how are you, sir?
I'm good, guys. How's everybody doing this morning?
We're doing great. So say obviously you've talked to Nathan. I don't know if you know Nap Lawrence. But Nap, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this segment. This is a guy I grew up with in the neighborhood. He's a longtime Valley coach, and we literally, the nice thing about radio is that you can present a lot of serious topics. You can talk sports. You can talk whatever topic you want. Religion, politics. We tend to stay away from those, but you can. And then we kind of make fun of people. And this is one of those segments that we're making fun of people. So Dylan, my old friend Dylan here. He's a single guy. He's a middle-aged guy.
Wow.
He's
got coming.
He's got 2 cats.
It's pumping you up, Dylan.
And a dog, and he's single. So if you know of any ladies that maybe
that's strike 1, 2, and 3 right there.
Yeah, so maybe you can help him out, Nap. I don't know. You run in a different social circle than my friend Dylan here does. So maybe if you can help him out, that'd be great.
Well, I can check from 8 decades.
Yeah,
he needs some real help.
I think
go check with a charity somewhere. See if anybody's looking to donate anything to me.
Yeah. He may like an older woman. I think. I don't know. What do you think, Dylan?
Did you say older than 50 than me? Yeah. Oh man, what kind of age are we talking? Are we in the 70s yet?
Maybe, yeah.
All
right, so let's get serious now for a minute. Enough joking around. So with everything going on out there with ASU, and you're a big ASU fan, how do you see things shaking out? Are you excited about what's going on here in the Valley? I mean, you're a longtime teacher. You coached for many years. You were a head football coach. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. The buzz is great. And, when we were talking off air a couple different times and we've texted back and forth, my big thing was, they just needed to find somebody kind of with the times, young, upbeat, local ties. And, they kind of hit a home run with all of those kind of qualities that the fan base is looking for. And so I think just the excitement that it brings, to the town and to the alumni and whatnot. So yeah, overall, it's just a good feeling. It's a good feeling to see a direction. And, I'm hoping for the best for him. I know a couple of the coaches on the staff just a little bit, and, pretty excited to see them come home and be able to get it going.
Knapp, you were telling me a story earlier about the press conference, and you look back to when Frank Kush got hired, because you were around at that time. Draw some comparisons between the Frank Kush era and how it started off and the Kenny Dillingham era in terms of coaching experience and all that you were telling me about.
It's very similar. It's Arizona State hadn't found itself yet. We were just in the process of Proposition 200, a statewide vote that the U of A fought us becoming a university, and they owned all the wealthy alumni as we were a teachers college prior to that. And so they basically controlled the media and everything else.
Wow.
And yet we got double the vote that they did to become a university. And that was a lot of the reason we elevated our program so significantly against the U of A. It took a long time, and if they hadn't hired Lute Olson, we'd still be beating them in basketball.
Wow.
But that's an example of how one coach and coaching staff can turn a program around, and I think we're on the verge of that here. I don't think I've ever seen a staff, and I've met every one of them, including the one that'll be announced later.
Yeah.
And they're all quality people that really know what they're doing, and they're not from New Jersey or Pittsburgh or
Right.
Ohio. They're ready to go into homes where they know the parents, where they know their high school coaches, where they drink beer with the boosters in that area.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge difference in the atmosphere between the fans and the potential fans and what we've seen the last couple of years.
Now, don't you think that when a parent sends his kid off to college, that he's depending on those coaches? He's dependent on those coaches to essentially become his parent and to guide them through a process. And if those coaches already have garnered the trust of these kids while they're in high school, or have already proven it, especially locally, by the records that they've created at these high schools and throughout the communities, don't you think that it gives them a great advantage into recruiting and getting the top kids and gaining the trust of the community and the parents? And they're going to be local people are going to be happy to send their kids to Arizona
Human
State.
Communication is the greatest asset one can have. And when you're close and get more opportunity for it, which we're going to have now, I look for an enormous amount of influence to be on keeping every good kid in Arizona, either in Sun Devil country or close to it.
Well, speaking to a good kid, we've got another one that's waiting on the line right now to jump on with us. Dylan, first of all, Dylan Weinmiller with It's Dylan. Dylan, thank you so much for joining us. We'll circle back with you next week, and Knapp is looking for a lady for you, okay?
There we go. All right, guys, have a good one.
Joining us on the line, you may recognize this name. Do you remember a wide receiver by the name of Keith Poole? Nathan? Yeah.
I'm good friends with Keith Poole. Yes, I remember
Good
wide receiver.
friends. Yeah,
Keith
okay,
Poole.
good
Come on.
friends. All right. So he's a good friend of mine.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'll say. Knapp, I know you know this guy's name. Keith, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you guys. How y'all doing?
Man, that's the most I've heard you talk in 20 years right there.
I'm not like Juan Roque, man. I'll try to keep it quiet.
Yeah. Okay. Keith, so you got to be excited. You ran a long-time gym here in the Valley. Obviously, you played here. You've seen the landscape. You've survived through a couple of head coaches the last 20 years and seeing how things have played out. What's the vibe now?
The vibe is I'm more excited now than I've been since they hired Frank Kush.
Nice. Wow.
This guy is the real deal. He's Nathan and I have talked about this before. You need to get a guy that bleeds maroon and gold to be the head coach here, and I think that's what he did. We've always got guys that just come in and make money. That's my personal opinion. And this guy has already said all the right things, done all the right things, shows that he cares. You know, I've had people ask me why we didn't get Deion Sanders. I'm like, Deion Sanders doesn't fit here. You know, this guy fits here, and he's gonna do all the right things, and I think he's gonna be very successful.
Well, I think it's interesting that you say that, because we were having an off mic conversation earlier with Spike about the fact that we don't really know kids from the Valley. We don't, you know, we want to support this program, and we want to be able to know, oh yeah, that kid grew up down the street from me. You know, that kid, the starting running back on the team, you know, I coached him in high school, or this and that. And we want that. And that's what we're hoping for with this new staff. I mean, would you agree, Keith?
Absolutely. That's been going on since Nathan played. And when I played, you know, that's all you heard is we don't get the in-state guys. And especially lately, we've had a few guys who've gone to the NFL, you know, that were right here in their backyard and didn't even talk to them. And that's embarrassing. You know, you should be on the high school campuses as much as you can, showing them that we want you here. I mean, that's who's going to bring the fans. The kids that are here in town are going to bring 15 people to every game, you know, 15 to 20 people. So I think that's what he's going for, and I think that's the way to go.
Keith, I think that the last time that ASU has had a team that was, you know, pretty littered full of Arizona kids was your team. And, you know, you guys were literally seconds away from winning the national championship. And then obviously the 87 Rose Bowl team was completely stacked with Arizona kids. The entire offensive line was from Arizona, and 20 of the 22 starters on that team went to the NFL. And, you know, that could be maybe the most storied team in ASU history as far as overall talent. Although you guys were, you know, from winning a national championship, you guys have been the closest. But both those two teams that stand out in my mind were both filled with much of the core and much of the great talent was Arizona kids. And I've always felt, and you and I have had conversations about this, the kids, if you get them from Arizona, they're going to they want to show everyone that they're worthy of what they've been given, and they want to perform, and they're getting the support, and they're more stable, and the list goes on. You could probably write down 100 different things that are benefits from doing that. And what are your thoughts on that, Keith?
I agree 110%. I mean, kids that are from here grew up watching Arizona State. I'm from Clovis, Fresno, California. I grew up watching Fresno State, and they were terrible, but that's where I wanted to go when I was a young kid, you know. And then I got smartened up a little bit and started looking outside. But people, the kids here in Arizona want to go to Arizona State. I mean, that's a fact. I've coached high school. I've been around the high school. They want to go to Arizona State, and a lot of them say, but I haven't been talked to. No one's contacted me. So I agree with you. Those two teams were loaded. My team was loaded with Arizona kids.
Thanks so much,
Keith. We got to get you in the Hall of Fame. What are we going to do? Let's do this. All right, get it out there.
I don't know, man.
Come on, brother.
I have no idea.
We're doing it.
I don't know what I need to do, and obviously that'd be a great thing. But
I'm throwing it out there. We need support out there. Come on, Valley.
All right, guys, we got to go. We'll be back with Coach Dillingham, the brand new ASU head football coach, after the break. Stick around, guys, on the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone, in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
To the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio out at Bottle and Bean Coffee and Wine Bar in Chandler, joined by my old friend Nathan LeDuc, Sun Devil Football Hall of Famer and longtime Sun Devil, forgive me, Nap, for saying this, I just can't help to say this, longtime Sun Devil athletic supporter, Nap Lawrence, and his son Spike. And we're joined on the line. We've got a very special guest here who's going to kick off hour number 2 with us. He's the brand new head football coach at Arizona State University. His name is Coach Kenny Dillingham. Coach Kenny, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm fired up to be on.
Coach, is this actually you or is this a stand-in? Are you sure this is you? People didn't think I'd get you on the show.
5801 East Caballo Drive was where I was born.
Wow.
Arizona. This is me.
Wow, this is big. So, Coach, talk to us a little bit about the journey to come back home. You grew up here in the Valley. You coached high school football here. Then you graduated from ASU. You started on the journey to coach college ball. How do you end up back here?
I mean, just trying to be the very best I could be every day. I mean, the journey was long. I mean, I started coaching freshmen and 8th graders in the spring, and I coached youth dodgeball for the city of Scottsdale. I ran city of Scottsdale camps. Then freshman football, varsity football, freshman football, varsity, Arizona State, essentially, coffee boy, Arizona State GA, Memphis. Yeah. And, so, I mean, it was just literally the everyday wake up and try to be the best version of yourself.
Hey, Coach, Nathan LeDuc here. I'm happy to be talking to you. One of the reasons why is I think I've finally been vindicated that we finally have an ASU coach who is implementing the philosophy that I've always felt would work at ASU. And so I'm really excited that you're highly interested in getting the Arizona kids. You weren't born at this time, but back in 1988, there was a coach from Colorado named Bill McCartney who hired a couple coaches from the Los Angeles area from prominent schools. He created a talent pipeline, and 2 years later, they were the co-national champions. So I think that the model that you're kind of emulating there, and you're doing it on your own, but it's been done in the past, it definitely will work. What are your thoughts on that? Can you kind of tell us your strategy to doing that and some of the benefits that come with really focusing on the Arizona kids?
Well, first things first, if you didn't use all your eligibility, let me know. We may be able to get you in the transfer portal.
Coach, he looks like he could still play, although I wouldn't say a defensive back. Nathan looks like he put on a few pounds last few years.
Can you help me get an NIL deal, Coach? Come on.
Hey, you're sitting next to that guy.
That's right.
But second thing, in regards to that is, this city has grown. I mean, and it continues to grow. And I think what the advantage we have there is there's the talent level here. When I played, there may have been 10 to 12 kids that went Division I out of the Valley. Now there's 40. So I think getting connected to the community, getting reconnected to the high school coaches, making this a destination location. And I think that's really the challenge. That's really the goal is when people think of this place, when you're born and raised here, we need to make this the place you want
to go to, the place you want to watch on Saturday, the games you put on when you're with your buddies at the house. I can go watch this game, or I can put on the ASU game. You put on the Arizona State game. But we have to make it fun. We have to make it exciting. We have to engage the community, because if we do all those things, and this is the thing to do, the great players will follow.
I couldn't agree more. Coach, obviously college rules have changed. There's this thing out there now called the transfer portal. It's pretty fluid. It's moving all the time. Can you just explain to everybody at least what you know about it and understand about it at this time, and how you guys go about, actually getting kids out of the transfer portal? How do you break up the recruiting process there?
So basically, any kid on scholarship can go into the transfer portal one time, and that basically reopens their recruitment to anybody in the country. So for us, we look into the transfer portal to get guys. We obviously eval their film, and then we have to, do a big character eval. One of the biggest things, I've been blessed to be a part of some teams that have used the transfer portal at a high level, and it's taken their program to pretty extensive heights from where we were when we got there with Mike Norvell, and it was all about the character of the kid. You want to bring in good kids who love football, right, that have the talent to play it. And I think that's the challenge, because anybody can just go into the portal. There's 1,000 names in there, and find somebody who played at school A or school B, or started at school A or school B. But the challenge of it is, are you going to put in the time and the work to watch kids, eval kids, call the people around those kids, and then go reach out to those kids to see if they're interested in the program? So it's a dynamic that basically involves speed dating now. It's the speed dating version of college recruiting. But you have to really, really be careful. You have to make strategic decisions, and you have to put in a lot of work in order to have a high hit rate.
It sounds a little bit like old style recruiting, where you actually got to do all the work yourself, and you're not relying on websites and different blogs that are giving star ratings and whatnot. You're actually beating the streets and finding out the true character of these kids by actually having to do a bunch of work.
100%.
Joined on the line by a brand new ASU head football coach, Kenny Dillingham. Coach Dillingham, thanks again for joining us. But does the transfer portal, does that hurt our high school kids now?
I think, yes, it somewhat pulls away from some scholarships to some high school kids. And it definitely, everybody's in the mode of, what have you done for me lately? So people want results now more than they ever have. So, coaches lean to get results now in the transfer portal more than they ever have. But I do think it also opens the opportunity for a high school kid who maybe was underseen and winds up at a small school and has a lot of success, for him to still live out his dream of he could then enter the portal and go to a bigger school, which is maybe he didn't get seen at before. So I do think it hurts some high school kids initially. But I think if that high school kid goes somewhere, maybe a smaller school before, and then he has that success, he's going to get the opportunity to come back to an Arizona State or a bigger school later. So it hurts them initially, but really it just changes the dynamic of how the whole process works for some of these kids.
We're also joined by a longtime Sun Devil football supporter. How's that? Sounds better than athletic supporter, Knapp?
Yes,
yeah,
I prefer that.
Okay, all right. So longtime Sun Devil football supporter, Knapp Lawrence. Knapp has compared you, Coach Dillingham, to the early days when they hired Frank Kush back in '58. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel old, because I was hired, I think, 2 to 3 years after him. So after he was hired, But no, it's pretty special to be compared to that. I've got a long way to go, to kind of fulfill that. But it's exciting that we have that momentum around the program. That's what's exciting to me, is people have that thought in their mind and they have that belief, and they're getting behind the program.
So all three of us sitting here, Nathan, myself, and Knapp, to even be mentioned in the same conversation with you guys is amazing. But I'm going to do that today because it's my show. But with Nathan and Nap Lawrence here, Nathan Leduc, we've sat through a lot of ASU head football coaches. I was a grad assistant during the Snyder era, the late Coach Bruce Snyder, which, again, I'm partial, but I think that was the greatest era of all, Nathan. Oh, whatever.
87.
Okay, whatever. But anyway, what's going to be different for you to tap into that alumni base, Coach Dillingham?
I think just relationships. I think most times you get a coaching staff, you go to a school, and you have to go build the relationships because they like ASU and you're the coach at ASU, right? I think what's unique about our staff is our staff showed up, and we already had these relationships. I already used to go sit with Nap Lawrence at El Diablo, right, at Spike's old restaurant, and learn about life and what success looks like. I've done that from the age of 17.
Can you share some of those conversations?
Just about listening. We always said, listen. Anybody who talks, you're not learning when you talk. He always used to say, listen. Sit back and listen to what people say. And that was something I really took from the conversations there was I take that to heart in recruiting. I take that to heart hiring coaches. I take that to heart all the time now as I sit back and I try to listen and respond, not just listen and speak.
Nap actually had cut in. There was something he wanted to say. Go ahead, Nap.
Well, as long as he's listening and not watching, we did a lot of that then. But do you remember 6 months ago when you were where we are right now, about 4 seats away, and we were talking about how wonderful it would be if you were back here, etc. And you amazed me by giving your credentials at that time. Frank had never had the opportunity to be a coordinator in 3 other schools. This is amazing how much you have already learned, and watching you on all your moves since you've been here, you're phenomenally ahead of any other coach we've ever hired. It took forever to get to know the boosters, for the boosters to want to be part. You've almost walked into a perfect world right now. And I have so much confidence that your entire staff will become household names in the valley.
Wow. Coach, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel like I need to get to work. That's what it makes me feel like. It inspires me to get to work.
Yeah, you got a lot of work to do. Coach, are you about done with the staff? What else do you have to do? I mean, I know that there's a couple of guys.
We have one more coach to be hired. Should be done hopefully Sunday or Monday. Can't comment on that yet, but we have got one more spot, our tight ends coach.
I think you might be giving it away there, Coach.
and then we're done.
Okay, and of course the kids. You've got you got a bunch of you're out there beating the bushes recruiting wise, so you got a lot of spots to fill as well, right? You have a good base to start with what's in house now.
Yeah, I mean, like I told all of our guys, is we're always going to bring in competition. If you don't want to compete, if you don't want to earn your spot, this isn't the place for you. I met with all of them, and I told them, we're going to have more fun playing football than anybody in the country if we do things right. You're probably going to hate me if you show up late. My dad went to the Naval Academy, so I got the fun in me from my mom, and I got the you better be early, you better have a pen, better have paper, you better do things right from my dad. So I'm excited. The guys know the standard is about to change, that we're about to do things at a high level in all aspects of our life. And if we do that, we can have a lot of fun doing it and a lot of fun competing. And the fact that I'm going to bring in the best players possible to compete with everybody on this roster, because that's my obligation to Arizona State, putting together the best team on the field.
Coach, look forward to meeting you in person. Thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Brand new ASU head football coach Kenny Dillingham. Coach, thanks again.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too. Wow, that was – I feel inspired. I want to go run through a wall now. Kevin, Nathan, you want to go scrimmage?
Do you really want that?
No, not with you. No, that's okay. How about you, Nat? You want to go out and run some routes with me? We'll throw the ball around a little bit. Yeah.
I'm fired up. Trouble is, I have vertigo. I didn't trouble standing up.
So you're telling me I might have a slight advantage. Yeah. All right. Guys, when we come back from the break, we have a special interview planned with a certain somebody's son Nathan Leduc Jr. And Nate, your boy is going to be on our show. So come back. Don't go anywhere here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be right back.
HD Radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
Hi, this is Mesa Community College Assistant Athletic Director Mike Lavella and Modern Day Invincible. You're listening to AM 1060, the Varsity Sports Show, the home of all your junior college sports coverage.
This is Dylan, the star of It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturdays for It's Dylan.
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, It's Dylan.
Hey, this is Leanne from the Humane Society of Marshall County in Benton, Kentucky. And our fur babies fall asleep to the soothing sounds of Vince every Saturday morning on the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Ready to bring KDUS AM 1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM 1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060.
This is where I start my day.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Vince DeLisio here on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. And every so often, we like to feature guys that are out there, young guys, young student athletes that are kind of forging a path, creating a name for themselves, and getting some attention. And one of these guys, has a familiar name. His dad's a good friend of mine, and in fact, he's also co-hosting the show today. But it's an interesting story that has been doing some great things the last few years and consistently building momentum and really producing a great product on the field with young men that are really solid off the field. This young man's name is Nathan Leduc, and he is a defensive back, American Leadership Academy, ALA, Queen Creek, the Patriots. They've been an open team the last 2 years, and they don't have any signs of letting up. They're a solid program with a solid coaching staff, so I'll bring him on. Nate, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. First of all, thank you, and welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. I want to talk about your team a little bit, and the reason why I want to talk about your team, and I'd already kind of let the cat out of the bag, is that you guys have been an open team the last couple of years. You have been an overachieving team with a fairly small roster, and when I say small, I don't just talk about small in numbers. I'm talking about you're playing in the open last year, and you've got guys on the line that are literally, being outweighed by guys on Hamilton's team by 40, 50 pounds, if not more, and you're holding your own. Talk about the grit and the desire that you and the rest of your team have put together. I mean, just where does it come from?
I mean, we all know our whole team kind of has we all know we're not going to be the biggest or strongest team, but I think we all just work super hard and we are well coached, and that helps a lot.
So speaking of coaching, you literally have a who's who among your coaching staff of guys that have been there, done that, and it's not easy to parlay a successful playing career into being a great coach. There's a lot of guys that I know that were great players, and you hand them a whistle, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. But it seems to work out at ALA Queen Creek. I mean, your head coach, Ty Detmer, obviously everybody knows that name. Max Hall, who coaches your offense, has been. He spent time in the NFL. You've had some other names. Obviously, your dad is on the coaching staff. So, what kind of philosophy, what kind of lessons do these guys impart on you, aside from just their pro background?
They kind of just are like trying to develop us to be like good people, good young men, and they're teaching us to do things the right way and have class with it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this season, this past year. You guys, obviously you qualified for the Open last year. You qualified for the Open this year, and it was for all intents and purposes, it was a very good season. You had 9 wins in the regular season?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and with that, you played some top. I mean, throughout the season, you made the jump, and you played some top talent. You ended up jumping up to 5A, and some of the teams on your schedule that you defeated. I mean, you played what? You had Verado, which was no slouch. You beat Cactus. You beat them pretty soundly, and they're playing for a state championship. You played Queen Creek. You held it close with Queen Creek. You played Gilbert North, playing for a state title in 4A. Mesquite, Campo Verde. I mean, Higley, playing for a state title. Casa Grande, defending state champions in 4A. Horizon, okay, which advanced fairly far into the quarterfinals of 5A. So, what was it like week to week in realizing, hey, we've got a pretty good team here?
Yeah, we knew we had a talented team this year, but we just got better every single week, and I think we knew that we had a chance of making it far in the playoffs. At least we thought we were going to be in the 5A playoffs, but we knew we had a real talented team, and we knew that we were going to be pretty hard to beat.
You had a pretty good season statistically. I mean, you ended up with 44 solo tackles, 44 solo tackles, 104 total, 9.5 tackles a game. I mean, you're a defensive back. You're not supposed to be making that many tackles. You must be doing something right, though, and coming up and really playing aggressively. Couple of picks, some forced fumbles. So, I mean, you put together a really good season. You got on the radar of some schools. You got your first offer, and it happened to be from the hometown, Pac-12 team here, Arizona State. How did that feel when you got the call from Coach Iguano?
Oh, it was awesome. I was in shock, honestly. It's always been a dream to get looked at by college and be able to have a chance to play at the next level. And it's even cooler that I got my first offer by Arizona State because my dad played there.
Yeah. Well, of course. And I mean, that's big. And when it's the hometown team, I mean, that's also big. The word on the street now is that this offer is likely going to draw much more attention from other schools. And, I mean, do you have a wish list now? I know that, once you graduate from high school, it's been said that you're going to be going on a mission for a couple of years and fulfilling that. But once you get back, I mean, do you have an idea? Is there, are you thinking in your head, man, I would love to go to blank, in terms of school? I mean, is there like a short list in your head that you're thinking about, or is your mind totally open right now?
Right now it's pretty open, but ASU is definitely going to be one of my top choices in the end of the recruiting process. But yeah. I'm pretty open to anyone.
Okay. So then you're going to take off for a couple of years. So in that time, while you're serving your mission, will you have an opportunity to really keep the workouts in? I mean, what's that going to involve?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I think it depends on where I go on my mission, but I'm going to try my best to do workouts in my apartment and try to stay in shape for when I come back home.
Awesome. You get along with your dad?
Yeah, pretty well.
Okay. I had to ask that question. So anyway. All right. Nate, it was great talking to you. So joined by Nathan LeDuc. defensive back, quarterback out of American Leadership Academy in Queen Creek. Made an open run the last couple of years, and he's a junior. He's class of 24, and will be coming back for his senior year, and just picked up his first offer from Arizona State, and which should open the floodgates for many more in the near future here. Nate, congratulations, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That was fun. I like asking the tough questions, like, do you get along with your dad? McCabe is not going to ask that question. How does that make you feel, Nate? He says he gets along with you.
Well, he doesn't talk very much, as you saw in that interview. So, he's a typical teenager. He's got one-word answers for most things. So
Yeah.
you don't get into long, drawn-out, deep conversations. But I'm pretty good to him, so I'd imagine that he should feel at least.
Well, at least somebody else asked. At least he gets along with you, so he doesn't have any.
He doesn't have any hard feelings.
No.
I only beat him once in a while. So.
Nap, you were definitely engaged in this interview. How does it make you feel to hear this young man? He's the son of a Sun Devil football great here sitting next to us, who just picked up his first offer to ASU.
I think that's pretty cool. And if I was him, I'd jump on it right away.
Yeah, take the offer, huh? Before it gets pulled. Right.
I have a grandson who is arguably the #1 kicker in the state of Arizona.
Yeah. Wow.
They've made him feel very comfortable also, although he hasn't been offered yet.
Yeah. Has Spike been a disappointment to you?
Well, if he would have been 3 feet taller, he would have been a great player.
He's a good guy, though. He's got that grin ear to ear. And then I still think of him 25 years ago with all those women surrounding him as we're coming in on the bus at the Rose Bowl. That day I really wished I was Spike Lawrence instead of being where I was.
Too bad that in the sport, or he would have let her.
Yeah, he would have let her. Multiple varsity letters. Yeah.
But Nap, he would have done more than letter. He would have been an All-American.
All-American? Yeah.
If there was a Heisman Trophy for that, Spike was probably at least in the finalists, right?
Yeah. They would have named an ESPN award after him. So the show so far, so obviously, this has been an ASU theme this morning. A lot of excitement around the new program, the new staff, the direction of the program. Nate, what do you think so far?
I'm excited about where we're headed. Coach Dillingham's words confirmed to me more and more that I think he's on the right track. I feel like I've always felt like there's just a tremendous amount of potential in this city.
Were you a little skeptical at first?
Look, I feel like our administration was in a challenging position, and just because of the situation, they were hampered a little bit by looming NCAA penalties.
Yeah.
You sometimes don't get to do exactly what you want to do all the time under those circumstances. And so, I don't know that it was the most conventional situation to be in to have an incredible hire. And I feel like it's going to be a great hire. So I love what I'm hearing so far. Again, this is a destination city. Everyone wants to come to Phoenix all the time. So let's connect the Valley with Arizona State University and Arizona State University football and athletics, and let's get this thing to be a highly competitive team for every year.
Nap Lawrence, longtime Sun Devil football supporter, obviously rallying the alumni and booster base. A lot of excitement around this hire.
Absolutely. I think the key here is this new coach is very, very bright. And from everybody he's associated with since grade school, has always regarded him as a very bright person. And there's a reason he was offensive coordinator at three other schools.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a head start over any coach that's ever coached him.
All right. Well, there you have it from Nap Lawrence and Nathan LeDuc. We are at Bottle and Bean in Chandler. When we come back from the break, we are going to be joined by another young, bright football mind, a guy by the name of Jason Mons for the SaberCat Football Report. They have a big game tonight, probably the biggest game of his coaching career to date. We'll get a pregame assessment from him as they face Basha tonight at 6 o'clock at Sun Devil Stadium. when we come back here on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Don't go anywhere, guys. Go Varsity.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, this is Mike from Beachin' with Beal, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
This is Coach Lucas Ramirez, and you are listening to the home of the Saguaro Sabercats, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Founder-level sponsors, the Kristen Graziano Group with HomeSmart Elite, are proud to be Saguaro alumni, community advocates, and your hometown realtors. The Kristen Graziano Group is ranked in the top 1.5% of real estate teams nationally, and your top-selling team right here in Sabercat territory. The Kristen Graziano Group can currently be seen on the Emmy-nominated TV show Selling the Valley of the Sun. When you're ready to buy, sell, or want to know the value of your home, reach out to the group that knows the neighborhood, the Kristen Graziano Group.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
This is the Sabercat Report with Saguaro Sabercat football coach Jason Mons on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. And now, here's Coach Mons.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Felicio out at Bottle and Feed Coffee and Wine Bar in Chandler, Arizona, joined by Nathan LeDuc, longtime Sun Devil football supporter. Spike Lawrence, I can't say that without laughing because I want to say athletic sports football supporter. And then, of course, his dad, a guy whose name has been in the program for, going on 60 some odd years, man.
Since 58.
58, Nap Lawrence. So thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a special day. I'll tell you what, guys, if I, again, I don't want to get morbid, but if I die today, it will have been a good day, I think. Yeah. So anyway, this is a great day. I'm flanked by these guys. Maybe you guys can carry my casket someday. What do you think?
Oh,
Nathan?
sure.
Will you eulogize me, Nathan? What would you say? Would you be kind at my funeral?
Of course, I'm always
Okay,
kind.
thanks. All right.
Yeah, I'm always positive.
All right. So with that, we are joined on the line to give some morbid thoughts now, going into some positive things with our old friend, Coach Jason Mons, who has a big game tonight. Coach Mons, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I thought I might have been on the wrong call talking about funeral and caskets.
We're planning my funeral here. Coach, you got to be excited. I mean, this is arguably the biggest game of your coaching career tonight. Would you agree?
Well, I don't know. We played in the Open Division State Championship game last year as well. That was
I know, but that was just Chandler.
We played a lot of big games, but there's no doubt this is another great opportunity, another special night for our team, and really with where we came from to get to this point, it definitely makes it that much sweeter.
So I'm sitting here telling stories hearing stories from Nap Lawrence. Nap Lawrence is throwing your dad's name around as being a guy. I've learned a lot this morning. A guy that was very critical in the early recruiting of Sun Devil football. I mean, in the 70s and 80s. I mean, what can you say to that?
Nap, great to hear your name. It's been a little while, but I mean, yeah, my dad never had enough good things to say about Nap Lawrence and his time at ASU back under Frank Cush. I think he got hired in 1977 and was there until Cush was let go. But yeah, that was the Sun Devils were the kings of the Valley back then, and Nap was a big part of that as well.
Like father, like son.
Wow. So, Coach Mons, did Nap give good Christmas gifts back then?
I'm sure he did. I was pretty young. Back in 1977, I
Okay.
wasn't around quite yet. But over the years when my dad was back working in the ASU athletic department, we spent a lot of time together. And it's like the good old days of Don and Charlie's restaurant. That was my favorite place to go with my dad whenever he was in town. And we've got some great memories growing up of that crew.
Yeah, amazing. And Knapp seems like just the kind of guy that you can sit and have a beer. In fact, he's sitting here. Knapp, does your wife realize it's 9:30 in the morning and you got a glass of beer in front of you? What's going on?
We're not on television.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's okay. All right. Yeah, because that may not be beer. It could be apple juice. Yeah, that's fizzy. So go ahead. Nathan, you had a question for Coach Mons.
Yeah, Coach, first off, congratulations on the year. It's really impressive what you've done with this team. Talk me through the first 5 games. What a challenging schedule that you guys had this year. And the first 5 games were a little bit difficult. You come out of them 2-3. Give me an idea of how you kept your kids on board. What type of coaching did you use to do that? And then since that time, how have you turned them around to improve on a weekly basis? And I feel like you guys have been on an upward trajectory for the latter half of the year.
Absolutely. No, it's a great question. I mean, we knew going in that we had, I think preseason, it was listed as one of the top 10 most difficult schedules in the entire country, moving up from 4A to 5A and then from 5A to 6A, playing 2 divisions up. And then, me and my infinite wisdom scheduled the number 3 team in the country from New Jersey to come play us the first game of the season. And they brought out a defensive front that I've never seen at the high school level. They were unbelievable. And we had 4 out of 5 new starters on the offensive line. So I didn't do our guys any favors scheduling that game, but coming off winning the open division, you kind of need to find out really early where you're at. And we played them tough, but they ended up pulling away from us. And it was kind of a punch to the gut. And then, had a bounce back game real quick against Queen Creek and the rain, and lightning. And that was a mess, and found a way to win late, and then played Chandler and Liberty back to back. And, went into the Chandler game at halftime with the lead, even though we had an hour weather delay and it was kind of a funky night. We just lost the momentum in that game, and they made some big plays and he didn't respond. We kind of felt like we let one get away from us. And then I thought we bounced back, really well against Liberty, against obviously the team that everybody was kind of crowning early in the year as the best team in Arizona. And, that was a back and forth game. We had a late fumble in the first half that allowed them to score to take the lead. And then we came back and scored and made it a 2-point game and then allowed them to go on a 19-play drive. They converted 3 or 4 third downs and a couple fourth downs, including their touchdown to go up by 2 scores to kind of put us away. So, we came out of those games and we were 2-3, but we just kept getting on the film on Saturday mornings and going, guys, we're right there. And it was evident, we're watching film. We're like, we're a few plays away from being in these games or winning these games. And those were the best teams in the state at that time. So we felt like, man, if we can leave here on Saturday feeling like we were right there, then we can't lose hope. And we can't let our schedule, predict our future. We just have to keep battling. And I thought our kids did that. And it was hard because there's, when you're used to winning at the level that we've won at, we hadn't lost, 3 games since 2012. And so it was just getting kids to continue to trust the process. That's my saying that I say until I'm blue in the face is you just got to trust the process. We have a process here. It's proven to be successful, and just getting the kids and the parents to buy into it. And they did. It didn't happen overnight. It was a long process to get the kids to continue to buy in and rally together, but it happened. And now we're seeing the fruits of that hard work paying off.
And so you're playing for the championship tonight, potentially with the chance to repeat. You're playing a talented team in Basha. What was your message this week? What is it that you guys need to do? What do you feel is the most important aspect of this game in order for you guys to have success tonight?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, our motto all year has been fight some more. We kind of knew that that's what it was going to take. We were just going to have to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And I thought it was, last week was awesome. It was like, your whole theme for the whole year came down to, down 14 in the fourth quarter, and we just kept fighting. And that's our mentality right now. I mean, obviously we're putting a ton of work in the film room and preparing and looking at what they do schematically and how we want to defend them and take them away and how we want to attack them. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it with a group of teenagers, with a game like this, they just kind of come out and ready to fight and don't let the scoreboard dictate the effort and the energy and the attitude. Just keep battling And I think if we play our game and we commit to fighting for 4 quarters, I think we've got a good chance. But, when you talk specifically about Basha, obviously that, it all starts with their quarterback, Jamal Williams. Real dynamic athlete, makes a lot of plays with his legs, keeps things alive. Makes chicken salad out of chicken scratch. My dad used to say that's what Bum Phillips used to say. You can't make chicken salad out of chicken, but that quarterback does that, and so we've got to just keep him contained. We got to make sure that we don't let him get loose and hit big explosive plays. And then I think offensively, I think the physicality is going to be important for us. We need to make sure that we get after them up front, that we establish a physical run game, that we finish our runs and finish our blocks, and then force them to have to defend that and then be able to take the top off and create some one-on-one matchups and try to take advantage of those.
Coach Mons, I appreciate, and on behalf of the Varsity Sports Show, I want to tell you it's been a pleasure to cover the team this season as your play-by-play broadcaster and just covering you week to week, and you coming on, win, lose, whatever, you would come on the next day and talk to us, and that means a lot because it's easy to back out when things are rough, and week in and week out you continue to do that, and I can't tell you on a personal level you really have been great to work with. So thanks so much, Coach Mons, with the SaberCat Report. Coach, good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot, Vince. I appreciate all your coverage all year long.
All right, Coach Jason Mons. And we're going to pivot to actually a former SaberCat who spent this past year at the University of Wisconsin. He was a Badger, but he's coming home to ASU. He was an all-state defensive end out of Saguaro High School. His name is Tristan Monday. Tristan, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing? Sorry.
All right, man. Late night, huh?
No. Decided to wear a short sleeve shirt in 17-degree weather in Wisconsin. Caught a little bit of cold.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but we're happy that much more motivation to be back home. And I want to ask you, first of all, you heard your old coach talking. He's got a big game tonight. How does that make you feel with these guys playing for another Open Championship?
Man, I love all those guys. Those are the guys that, all of them except that incoming freshman class this year, they battled right with us last year. We weren't in the same situation they were in this year, but honestly, I'm just really proud of these guys.
Yeah.
These guys fought adversity, fought through injury, and they had each other's backs, which is what Saguaro is all about.
So you're coming home. You're going to be enrolling at ASU with a brand new coaching staff. What made this decision for you? How did you decide to come home? Because at this time last year you were excited you were going to be a Badger.
It all really came down to I grew up an ASU fan. It was everything I ever wanted to do when I was younger. And when I finally got the opportunity, I didn't have an offer in high school from ASU, but when I finally got the opportunity to come home, it's really hard to pass those things up.
How do you feel about this new coaching staff? There's got to be some excitement because a lot of these guys are, basically they're Arizona guys, and they're working to fill the roster with Arizona guys. So, how does that make you feel that kind of attention to detail is being paid now?
It's amazing. I personally know the talent, and I know how underrated Arizona football talent can be. And the fact that we finally have a coach at ASU that believes in that in-state talent is amazing.
I'm joined here by a couple of ASU greats, Nathan LeDuc, who played here years back and
4 decades ago.
Yeah, 4 decades ago. and then of course Nap Lawrence, longtime Sun Devil football supporter, and his son Spike, and they are just so excited that you're coming back, that we're going to get to see. Do you have a jersey number yet? Have you claimed a number?
No, actually, I just got back last night, and I'm going to sign today at 11.
Nice. We're going to sign. I got to be there for that. Wow. Do you think can you save me a spot next to you?
I don't know about that, but hey, I can ask.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right, guys. That's Tristan Monday, brand new Sun Devil. He's going to be joining the program, coming out from the University of Wisconsin. Grew up here in the Valley. Saguaro High School, all-state defensive end, outside linebacker. Was a pretty good basketball player as well. I covered their basketball team last year. Tristan, thanks so much for joining us. Your dad's a great guy as well, and we'll look forward to seeing you play on Saturdays next fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Guys, when we come back from the break, we're kind of slow it down a little bit, and we'll be joined by an old friend of mine. Nap, you're going to love this. You're gonna be indoctrinated into the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. You're probably wondering, why do we do a surf report? Because we can. That's why. So we'll be back here on the Varsity Sports Show. Don't go away.
Easy Sports Talk with former NFL and MLB player Ed Smith and co-host Javon Adams airs Saturday mornings 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hi, this is Darren Chapman with Tiger Mountain Foundation. You need to keep listening to my old St. Mark's mate, Vinny D'Alicio, man, on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. It's the home of you, high school, college, and you. I mean, us. Thank you. Varsity Sports, baby. You can't beat it.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Dude, Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is mail, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
And now it's time for Beachin' with Beal. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beal. The opinions expressed during the segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. In our final segment, we are joined by my old friend and teammate, high school teammate, Mike Beal, with the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report, live from Huntington Beach, California. Mike?
That is correct, Sir Vincent.
Okay, so Huntington Beach. So, Mike, I am joined by the great Nathan LeDuc. I think Nathan may have put you on your back once or twice when we played them back in the day in high school. I don't know. Nate, you wouldn't remember. Mike was a very forgettable guy. And then to my right is longtime Sun Devil football supporter Nap Lawrence and his son Spike here at Bottle and Bean in Chandler Coffee and Wine Bar. Just an amazing place, amazing experience this morning, surrounded by some great people. We should do this every week. This is a lot of fun. Spike, you think you can give us our own wing here? Yeah? Oh, listen to that. Wow. Now, if Nathan wasn't here, you wouldn't be saying that probably. We'll go into the wine room. Yeah, in the wine room. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Mike, what's going on in Huntington? What are you doing?
Well, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful day here, like picturesque. It's crystal clear. Water's nice. The only problem is it's 50 degrees in the air and 58 degrees in the water. And little cold, and the surf report's a balmy ankle to shin high. So it's not quite as picturesque as you could imagine, the waves, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Continuing on with the Vincapalooza Surf Tour.
The Vincapalooza Surf Tour. Okay, so you remember Nathan from high school, right? Everybody remembers Nathan Ledoux.
I do. And Nathan, I got to tell you, it's a pleasure to be on with you. Absolute Arizona football legend. Kind of like the polar opposite of Vince. You were playing, and you were good, and Vince was always watching guys like you and me on the sidelines, cheering us on. Go Nathan!
Getting water.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Mike. Hey, my understanding is there's a lot of data out there that suggests that cold water plunges are actually really healthy for you. So, that 58-degree water might be perfect for that situation then.
Nathan, it's so funny you mentioned that. My wife, we pulled up, checked it out, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting in. I need a fireplace and a hot chocolate, freezing. My wife got stripped down to her bathing suit and jumped in for 5 minutes for that very reason. She said that she had read the benefits health-wise, and she says she feels like $1 million now, but I'm getting cold just looking at her. but yeah, there's something to that.
So joined here also by Nap Lawrence. Nap, are you a big beach goer? Do you like the beach?
I did 30 years ago.
Yeah, not now though?
No, in fact, it's 50 degrees here also.
Yeah.
And I'm freezing.
It's never too late, Nap.
Yeah. So for any novices out there to surfing, Mike, what kind of basic lessons can you give us? Maybe some vernacular, some terminology. What can you tell us?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is when you come to the beach, try not to get sand kicked in your face. I don't know if our listeners know this, but every time Vince comes out here, he somehow, whether we're at the beach or out to dinner, he's getting sand kicked in his face.
Hey, Mike, that's the story of Vince's life. Yeah. It's not sand, it's dirt.
Yeah, it's just, Vince, you need to grab a hammer and a box of nails and try to build something with yourself.
Thanks, Mike. So, like I said, I was telling Nap before we came back, I said, this is a Southern California surf report. So, we're kind of hoping to get that instead of it turning in like it does every week into an insult session and I'm on the receiving end of that most of the time, but in fact, probably all of the time. But what else do you have for us about what's going on at the beach?
Not much. I was actually thinking about your football career while I was here waiting to come on, and because of Nathan, he was so stellar. Yeah. Back in those days, we used to read the Arizona Republic and sports section of which he was featured in. And I remember you went on, kind of followed in Nathan's footsteps and played at Scottsdale Community College. You were an artichoke. Yeah. And then after your playing days, I remember you were thinking about becoming a strength and conditioning coach before you got into coaching, but you don't have any strength or conditioning. Yeah. So that didn't work out.
You know what? That would even make Nap laugh. So thank you for that. Yeah. You're really painting a good picture for me to be friends with these guys.
But here at the beach, it is really a nice day. Surprisingly, it's not a lot of people here. I was, it's kind of different. I think it's because it's so cold. It's really cold here. I was going to go to Mutt's after this, our local restaurant on the beach, but even the windows are closed. It's usually wide open, but it's a little different than the regular Vincapalooza surf tour of North Orange County, Newport, and Huntington. Yeah, compared to the summer.
Yeah. So what do you now? I don't know, Nap. Are you into pickleball, Nap? That's like the biggest craze now. Are you?
No, I'm too busy watching other sports.
Watching other sports, yeah. So Mike has gotten into pickleball. He's on the pickleball circuit. He plays in these tournaments where there's and Mike's my age. So so that's considered young in the pickleball circuit. He plays in a lot of these tournaments where he's just winning week after week after week. But I come to find out the competition, he's playing against a lot of like 90-year-old women that have had hip replacement and men that, with emphysema, stuff like that. So that's what we're seeing. Mike, do you have any tournaments coming up?
Oh, Vince. I do actually. In a couple of weeks, I'm playing in Tustin. But also, I was thinking before the show, Nathan could probably pick up a ball and paddle and dominate just kind of like I did. But then I think of you picking up a ball and paddle, and you'd be like, "What is this? Am I supposed to hit it?"
Because I'm not inclined in any type of extracurricular activity. On the couch, right? Yeah.
You could definitely be like a male cheerleader on the sidelines, like, "Go Nate, go Nate, go Mike. You guys are great."
Hey, Mike, I kind of like this segment actually here. We get to insult Vince the whole time. I didn't really realize that was it, but I love it.
Yeah. But Nathan, you told me going in that you were a champion for the little guy, and you're not doing that now. So you need to step up your game.
You're the host of the show. You're not the little guy. Let's go.
Okay. All right.
Well, as a matter of fact, Vince is a little guy.
All right. So, Mike, anything else before we end this segment?
No, I just want to spread the love. Happy holidays coming up. I hope everybody gets their shopping done in these tough times. Could be a rough Christmas for some people.
I mean, you are in Southern California. You are in Huntington Beach. You're a real live person. This isn't like a persona, an act that you put on. This is how you really are.
It is. I try to be real for you, especially.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So on behalf of the Southern California Surf Report, my old friend Mike Beal. Mike, thanks so much for joining us, and hopefully you'll be back next week.
Thank you for having me, Vince, and happy holidays to all.
Yeah. So, guys, we're a couple minutes left in the show. Nathan LeDuc, Spike Lawrence, Nap Lawrence here at Bottle and Bean Coffee and Wine Bar in Chandler. Nap, I'm going to start with you. What'd you think of the show and the guests that we had on today? It was an ASU theme. We did that for a reason because we knew you were going to be here.
Well, I can tell you this. I think this will be the beginning of several of these type shows.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're the star of all of them.
Wow.
I couldn't have enjoyed this more just listening to you. And I look out in the audience there and I see guys like Tom Klein.
Yeah.
And the Wolfman, David Wolf. Those are ASU's top sports fans and as knowledgeable about it as anybody on earth.
Who's the young lady with the dark shades that's texting over there, not paying attention to us?
She's my daughter.
Oh, okay.
Victoria,
Okay. Oh,
who's the mother of Karsten, the kicker, who's sitting at the
is that
bar
Kiefer?
Yes.
Oh, that guy's a legend. We covered Corona this year. Karsten Kiefer. Wow, he's over there. He's eating. Wow, Karsten.
He eats, Vince.
Yeah, he does.
He breathes too.
He breathes as well. Wow, gosh, this is a who's who today.
In 3 years of starting on the varsity,
he
kicked 130 extra points without one miss, and almost made a 65-yard field goal as a junior.
Yeah,
that fell 1 yard short.
Wow, and he's your grandson.
Correct.
Yeah. What happened to your son?
He must have had polio. He never grew after he was 5.
Spike's good at a lot of other things.
Yes, he is.
A lot like the milkman.
He looks a lot like the milkman, the UPS driver. Wow. This has been an amazing show. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for letting me come out here. Nathan, this was a regular Nate's Take today.
It was great. I do want to say I owe a debt of gratitude to Nap. Nap has been, again, a 60-year supporter of ASU, and I was the recipient of some of his, donations. He donated a significant amount of money to create the Nap Lawrence Strength Center. Yeah. And I worked out in that thing, and I gained a tremendous amount of strength and became, a fairly productive, decent player for ASU.
You did. You worked out in it. I used to walk by it a lot, if that means anything. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be back next week. Have a great week, everyone. Vince out.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.